Stand and win is back, baby. So stand and win is something we did in the past, and it's back. It's back. So the trick for stand and win right now, that is, you want your defenders to be defending, is you have to master first and foremost how to use the matchup. Second thing, you use manual switching. In this match, I'm using manual switching. Now, once you are using manual switching, you have to know how to use your angles. The matchup angle is very, very right. If you've listened to what I've said in the previous videos, you realize that I always say that immediately you lose the ball, you have to quickly use your matchup in a certain way. Immediately you lose the ball, use your matchup in a certain way. Immediately you lose the ball, move the matchup direction backwards so that you can immediately win the ball backwards. This is a very simple technique you have to know. Now, the next thing after mastering the matchup, if you want to use the stand and win technique, is that whenever you are using the matchup, all the defenders, they have a certain way they would move. So I have to use the matchup in relation to how my other defender is moving, because I know my other defender would win the ball. I know he would win. So he won the ball. You get me? I'm not actually using assisted to win the ball. I'm relying on my defender to win the ball by it or himself. And I'm going to do a standing crossover here with it. Let's try and score here and get back to defending. So that is it. 1-0, 1-0. I'll show you the play settings for this in a minute. This is stand and win, manual switching. And for it to be perfect, you need certain training guides. You need specific training guides. Okay, you need specific training, manual, double tap and flick, and sometimes you need to switch backwards. But I don't want to make things complicated by telling you that you have to switch backwards. Let's know the basic first. The basic is that whenever you are matching up, your other defender would be moving in a certain way. You have to move your matchup in a way that your other defender would be moving the way he's supposed to. So I'm matching up, but my other defender won the ball. Very, very perfect. So the thing is, it's not always that your other defender would win the ball. That is why you also have to be using the matchup. So two things: your other defender is moving, stand and win, and then you are also moving backwards to try and win the ball at the same time. That is stand and win, ladies and gentlemen. And the third thing, which I didn't want to talk about, is that sometimes you have to manually switch the cursor to your midfielder. Like right now, I just switched to my midfielder because I know how my other defenders would move. There are certain kinds of ball they won't come and try to tackle. So I have to switch and be able to use the matchup, because using the matchup well is very, very important. This seems complicated than the assisted cursor, but it's very, very easy. It's easier than assisted cursor. With assisted cursor, all you have to do is know how you're moving the angles, then you're moving backwards, get your angles right. But with this one, you have to know how your player would move. Depending on how you train him, you have to know how it would move. And at the same time, I'm moving backwards so that if he doesn't win the ball, I would be able to win. So the most important thing is that you're matching up. If you're matching up backwards, but if your defender doesn't win the ball, you would win the ball. That's the thing. And one thing that would help is being able to switch the cursor. I've talked about the passing. The passing thing is very, very important. Very, very important that you don't pass in certain situations. So I did a foolish pass in this situation, which led to him scoring this goal. I made a stupid pass. Now, it's a risk you take. If the pass works, it works. If it doesn't work, you just take the risk. When you pass and it doesn't work, it makes it difficult for you to match up, because in that situation, the players have moved differently. But what I'm saying once again is the entire concept of stand and win is the easiest strategy ever. It's the easiest because in stand and win, and the first ever stand and win videos I released, the defenders were just defending. All I had to do was just stand. But with this current stand and win, you have to know how the defenders would move. Okay. And once you know how the defenders would move based on how you've trained them, the next thing is you have to use your matchup in a way that if they don't go for the ball, you are the one who would go and win the ball. So here is an illustration. See, I just cleared over here because if I passed over here, if I passed over there, the opponent would counter me, making it difficult for me to use my matchup effectively. That is a universal trick. It cuts across assisted cursor. Okay, so if you are using assisted cursor, the passing trick works. I've explained it in the previous video. In certain situations, if you pass, it will just go straight to your opponent. So all you have to do is, instead of passing, you just clear. I played a shot over there. You see, I even played a shot over there. It went straight to the opponent. So you have to be very timely and fast about what commands you give. So let's get back. See, my defenders, he just automatic defended while I was using the matchup backwards. So you'd have to so basically what I do in this technique is I switch cursor backwards, get a matchup angle right, and then wait for my defender to defend. So I'm moving backwards. Nice. And immediately I win the ball. I have to be very, very quick in what command I give, because if you give a pass, it will just go straight to your opponent. So you have to be very, very quick. Think fast. And if I lose the ball here, I have to quickly switch to a matchup and then quickly give a command that won't be intercepted. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. I lose ball, switch to a matchup angle, pass, clear, give a command that you won't lose the ball, and then you repeat again. Lose the ball, use matchup right. Now I can give a true pass here. This player is in the way of the pass. Now, so that's a risk we take with the passes. If the opponent is in the way of the pass, your pass will never go. So you just have to be smart about it. Clearing is the fastest way to pass. And now we move backwards. I had to switch cursor to someone else because all my defenders were up, and I cleared. Now I have to get the angle right. We move backwards and wait for our defenders to do. Nice, and perfecto. Now we have to move backwards, and I almost won that ball. Now I have to move backwards, and nice, and switch cursor again, and then we try to find the correct angle to match up. Now I have to find the angle, and brilliant, my other defender automatically defended for me because of how I have trained them now. And yeah, that's it. Very easy stand and win. Most important thing is you know what to do once you get the ball. Otherwise, if you get the ball and you've not given